Good evening, my friends. I'm VM Video Master, and welcome again to Terrifying Thursday, your guide through stories whispered around campfires, etched into folklore, and buried in the shadows of history. Each week, we'll pull back the veil between the living and the dead, between the world you know and the one just waiting beyond the dark. Today's tale begins with a legend, not of monsters in the woods, nor ghosts in forgotten houses, but of a town. A town that doesn't appear in maps or even Google, and it doesn't exist in daylight, and reveals itself only when the October winds rise and the leaves catch fire in the trees. Some call it a dream, others call it a curse, but all who stumble upon it share one truth. Once you arrive, you can never go back the same. So enjoy this tale of the town that only wakes in October. It was supposed to be a routine road trip. Four friends, Megan, Tyler, Josh, and Emily, had planned a week of chasing Halloween festivals across New England. Haunted houses, pumpkin patches, cider mills, the usual. But somewhere along a back road that wasn't on their map, their GPS cut out. No signal, no road markers, just a narrowing strip of asphalt swallowed by dense, colorless woods. Then they saw it. Through the fog, a glow appeared. Orange, warm, and alive. A town. They rolled in slowly, eyes widening. Pumpkins sat on every porch, candles flickering inside like watchful eyes. Black and orange banners hung between street lamps. Children in costumes darted through the streets, their laughter ringing out against the crisp October air. It was perfect. Too perfect. Why haven't we ever heard of this place? Emily asked, gazing at storefronts lit with jack-o'-lanterns. The bakery displayed pies streaming in the window. The hotel had a vacancy sign glowing like it had been just waiting for them. The townsfolk smiled warmly. They waved, they welcomed the four like old friends. And yet, no one said the town's name. Not once. Their first night felt like a dream. They ate homemade candy apples, joined the pumpkin carving contest, even watched a hayride circle through the woods. Everything was festive, safe, almost storybook. But around midnight, something changed. Tyler woke to the sound of footsteps outside their motel window. He peeked through the curtain and froze. The children, the same children they'd seen earlier in costume, stood perfectly still in the street, silent and staring up at the motel, their faces hidden behind masks that seemed too realistic. And then as one, they lifted jack-o'-lanterns above their heads. The candlelight flickered, not like fire, but like eyes watching and waiting. By morning, the children were gone. The townsfolk acted as if nothing had happened. But when Megan went to buy a coffee at the diner, she noticed something carved into a pumpkin outside the door. Her name. Over the next night, the group began to unravel. Josh swore he saw his reflection in a window smile after he turned away. Emily swore the motel's wallpaper pulsed as if it were breathing. Tyler said every time he blinked, the town seemed slightly different. The houses taller, the streets longer, the faces of the people stretched too wide. And always at midnight came the parade. The entire town stepped out into the street, each holding a glowing pumpkin. They marched silently, faces illuminated in orange. The four outsiders watched from their window, too afraid to move. But one thing was certain. Every single lantern's flame was pointed towards them. On October 30th, the friends tried to leave. They packed their bags, jumped in the car, and drove. But every road bent back into town. returned them to the square where the townsfolk waited smiling as if they had expected the attempt. By Halloween night, exhaustion had stripped them of hope. At midnight, the church bells rang, and the town began to dissolve. Houses turned to mist, street lamps bled into the fog, and pumpkins collapsed into piles of ash. And the townsfolk, every man, woman, and child, stared at the four outsiders as they vanished, their bodies unraveling into smoke, swallowed by the October night. When the town was gone, so were they. You know, they say if you drive the back roads in October, sometimes you'll see a glow in the trees. A glow that calls to you, promising warmth, laughter, and comfort. But beware, once you step inside, the town remembers you. It carves you into its history. And when it fades, so will you. I'm VM Video Master, and this has been Terrifying Thursday. The shadows have their stories. So do I. Join me next week when the pumpkins you carve begin carving back. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your doors locked. And I'll see you in the next video.